Alrighty, one final thing to do here before we move off of the NBA for today, and that is to unveil our first power rankings of the season, folks. I have the power rankings up here, but don't get crazy, folks. This is where we left off last season. So just for, laughs and giggles, let's kind of say what our power rankings were at the end of last season, and we'll unveil our new ones this year. So the last time we updated our power rankings last season, this was what it was: Blazers at 10, Knicks at 9, Lakers at 8, Nets at 7, Clippers at 6, Suns at 5, Jazz at 4, Nuggets at 3, 76ers at 2, and the Bucks at 1. What has changed? What has changed over the last year? Let's start getting into that. So here we go. First edition of the power rankings for this season in the NBA, and the number 10 team is going to be the Toronto Raptors, folks. I'm loving what Nick Nurse is doing here with this young squad right here. All tier 2 talent, Nick Nurse coaching them up and being absolutely fantastic. OG Anunoby having one of his best seasons so far. Precious Achiuwa getting it done down low. We got Gary Trent Jr., who's kind of paying off. We've kind of said that, going back to last season, the trade for Gary Trent Jr. really didn't make that much sense to us, but now it seems like the Raptors are truly winning the trade now that both of these kind of new players in that trade are kind of, getting a fresh start on this team. So Gary Trent Jr., defense, offense, getting it done, and they're kind of doing it without Pascal Siakam so far. So once they get him back, it's going to be great. Malachi Flynn's doing really solid as well. Fred VanVleet getting it done at the point guard position, scoring, assisting, all that. So I'm loving what this Raptors team is doing so far early on this season. They're 6-3, and we give a lot of credit to Nick Nurse. So welcome to the top 10 Toronto Raptors. All right, number 19, we are going to go the Grizzlies. All right, no more Jonas Valanciunas, but Steven Adams is stepping in and kind of doing great. He's getting it done down low. They don't really look for him to score the ball, so that just frees up kind of John Morant and their other outside shooters a little bit more. With Valanciunas, he was a little bit ball dominant. He could go for like 15 and 15 any given night here, but Steven Adams, he doesn't even really worry about scoring. You get him the ball down low, he'll score, but he doesn't need the ball in his hands at the 5, and I think that frees up this Grizzlies team overall. So Jaren Jackson Jr., Brandon Clark, Desmond Bane, Dylan Brooks, they've got shooters on this squad, and like we said, Steven Adams from down low, and obviously John Morant still kind of getting it done. So overall, this Grizzlies team not really missing that much of a step here, losing kind of their big 5 last season and replacing them with Steven Adams, a real solid kind of tier 2 big. So Grizzlies at 9. All right, new number 8 team is actually not a new team. We're keeping the Lakers right here at number 8. Obviously, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, always so gosh dang good. I really think Russell Westbrook is starting to really kind of get acclimated to this Lakers team and, still getting it done, a positive impact. We just saw last night, a +6 on the floor. You got to give Russell Westbrook credit when he deserves it. Yes, there's always that kind of knock that he always goes too wild and only has one speed. And yes, it does get him in, bad situations some of the time, but it also, gives you some great performances some other times. So we could be honest here on Russell Westbrook, but I don't think he deserves just the constant hate that he gets. And the national media is truly ramping it up this season. Now that you're playing with LeBron, everything gets amplified, and that kind of narrative that Russell Westbrook is trash gets amplified as well. And I don't think it should be amplified that much. Now LeBron James going to be out for a little bit of some rectum, rectum injury, something like that. So they'll probably go down when we do this. We'll do this every Friday now that we've kind of established today. We'll do our power rankings every Friday. So the Lakers may go down. I don't really see this Lakers team winning that much without LeBron James. But Carmelo Anthony has been great. He's been so consistent, and that's the biggest thing that they just need from Carmelo, the consistent reliability coming off the bench. And so far, Carmelo Anthony's doing that to a T. Anthony Davis, always great as well. And like I said, if they can get Kendrick Nunn and Malik Monk consistent 10-plus point and like 3 to 4 assists, given their position, whether they're in the starting lineup, I really think one of those two should be in the starting lineup at the 2. Or if they're coming off the bench, we need them to get us consistent production. And if they do that, this is going to be a really, really great team in this league when they're fully healthy. So we'll see how they progress in the season, but we're going to put the Lakers here at number 8. Alrighty, new number 17, and wow, not even new number 17. We're keeping the Nets here at number 7. Kevin Durant, James Harden. I really think that's all we have to say about this team. Joe Harris is kind of not doing as great as he was last season. Still need to kind of get him acclimated, and especially without Kyrie Irving, Joe Harris's production and kind of role on the floor really should be increased. He really should be kind of the number 3 here for this Nets team. So once they get Joe Harris acclimated back in it, and he's hitting his 3 at like a 40%, 45% clip, we're going to be kind of taking off on this Nets team. I don't really love their bigs. LaMarcus Aldridge coming off the bench, we think is absolutely fantastic. We just don't know how long it's going to keep up. 15 years in the league. But yeah, so far LaMarcus Aldridge is getting it done for them. But then their other bigs of Blake Griffin and Nicholas Claxton, you're not going to win a championship with those as your primary bigs. So we'll see how they do. But so far they're getting it done. So 5-3. We'll leave them at number 7 for now. Alrighty, new number 6 team, definitely not the Clippers anymore. Paul George is having a great season, but that's all they have on that team. So we shout out Paul George, can't shout out the Clippers. But new number 6 team here is going to be the Milwaukee Bucks, folks. I'm loving this Bucks team. Yes, they haven't been fully healthy over the last couple of games, so that's why they're only 4-4. But this is a great team with Brook Lopez at the 5, Drew Holiday at the 1. That's who they've been missing these last couple of games, but you've still got, obviously, Giannis and Chris Middleton, and what makes the addition of Grayson Allen so gosh dang good is that you don't need Chris Middleton to kind of be the 3-point shooter and secondary primary ball scorer as well. So the addition of Grayson Allen just kind of frees up Chris Middleton a little bit more, and we know Chris Middleton's a little bit of hit and miss. He was truly hitting in the playoffs and in the finals, so we give him credit, but during the regular season and usually for the most part in the playoffs as well, he had one great playoff performance, so we're hoping that he keeps it up as his career progresses for Chris Middleton. We're just not 100% sure it will, but Grayson Allen kind of lightens the load for him. Dante DiVincenzo, and then we still have, who am I looking for here? Dante DiVincenzo, one more? I thought there was one more player I wanted to shout out here. Pat Connaughton, yes. Pat Connaughton, Dante DiVincenzo, and then Grayson Allen. I mean, there's scores on this team now, and Grayson Allen in the starting lineup, I'm loving it. Giannis doing Giannis things. They just need to be 100% healthy, and when they are, this is a great team, folks. They're deep. They've got like 3 solid bench players that can give us some points, so I'm loving the Bucks, folks. Don't kind of get afraid with their 4-4 record. They just have not been healthy this season, but they're good, folks. That's a good-ass team. Bucks at 6. All right, new number 7 team, we're going to go, or new number 5 team, excuse me, we're going to go the Jazz. All righty. Jazz out here, 7-1, looking good. They're deep as heck. Joe Ingles, Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench. Fantastic. And Hassan Whiteside at the 5 as well. I mean, that's a really good kind of big 3 coming off the bench for kind of tier 2 off the bench. I'm loving it. And then obviously Mike Conley and Bogdanovich and Donovan Mitchell, basically the same team that was last season for the Jazz, and they were always good. We still don't really like Jordan Clarkson taking like the most shots off the bench and kind of being that. I really, with Joe Ingles and Hassan Whiteside, there's more kind of flexibility off the bench of, pick and rolls and getting Hassan Whiteside rolling to the basket and getting Joe Ingles 3-point looks, but Jordan Clarkson does what Jordan Clarkson does. It's good. It results into wins and it results into points. We can't knock it too much. We just don't like it 100%. And then Rudy Gobert, I mean, I think he's averaging like 17 rebounds a game, folks, which is just absolutely stupid. So Rudy Gobert is still getting it done down low. This team is basically what it was last season with a little bit extra loaded off the bench. So Jazz, they're great. Obviously, they're at number 5. All right, new number 4 team. We're going to go with the Warriors here, folks. Obviously, Steph Curry doing absolutely fantastic, but the addition here of Jordan Poole and the emergence of Jordan Poole out here, sheesh. And now they still have Klay Thompson, who's not back quite yet from his injury, and once they get that man back, forget about it. Am I right? And then Andrew Wiggins, so consistent again this season, so gosh dang consistent. Draymond Green, at the 4, doing Draymond Green things. Having kind of Kevon Looney down low, that's fine. James Wiseman not ready to kind of come back yet, so that's really was going to be interesting once they kind of get James Wiseman back. How good is he? Wasn't really good last season, so the 5 here for this Warriors team is still a little bit of a question mark, but overall the outside shooters are getting it done because as long as you have Steph Curry, you get it done. And let's also shout out Namaja Jellica, kind of the other forward, another nice beef down low that kind of helps out this Warriors team as well. So they're getting it done. They're 6-1. They're not losing. Fantastic Warriors with Steph Curry, and once they get Klay Thompson back, this Warriors team will probably officially be back to their kind of golden era. So Warriors at 4. All right, number 3, we're going to go the Chicago Bulls. Man, oh man, what a great 4. What a great elite 4 that this Bulls team has. And ever since they moved DeMar DeRozan to the 4 in the lineup, he's been going absolutely manic. 30-plus points every single game without hesitation. Looking great, efficient as heck. So the main 4 of Lonzo Ball and Zach LaVine and Vucevic and DeMar DeRozan, I mean, sheesh. The bench is a little lackluster. They have, or could potentially be a little lackluster. They haven't been so bad. Alex Caruso's okay. Learned a lot from playing with LeBron, so you bring over that experience and all that. Derrick Jones Jr. is finally starting to kind of get some good minutes here off the bench here, which we absolutely love. Kobe White has some good potential as well. So the main 4 for this Bulls team is what we love. They could get a little bit in trouble with their bench as the season progresses, but, I mean, if you've got this main core 4 right here, you're going to be in all these games. So the Bulls 6-2 so far, looking really good, and I just really can't say enough of that about that core 4 and how great and just how great DeMar DeRozan is fitting into this offense. First year here, no problem. Didn't kind of had that couple of games at the end of last season after the trade deadline when all those pieces got here, and he's kind of the best player on this team. Are we crazy for saying that? I don't know, folks, but I'm loving what the Bulls are selling us here and what we're getting from them. Bulls at number 3. Alrighty, number 2 team, we're going to go the Miami Heat, folks. Don't get us started talking about this Heat team because we could go all day. Absolutely fantastic. Kyle Lowry at the 1, a true point guard out here who can score, but is looking to move the ball. You get Jimmy Butler who can be more aggressive since, he doesn't have to kind of be ball dominant because they have a true point guard in Kyle Lowry, so that just frees up Jimmy Butler to get it done. We get Bam Adebayo down low, who's being a little bit more aggressive this season, what the Heat have been kind of crying and clamoring for the last 2 years for Bam Adebayo to do, and it's finally getting going. And then the addition of the big beef, PJ Tucker and Markieff Morris. PJ Tucker in the starting lineup, Markieff Morris coming off the bench. They could both score, but that's not their primary function, and it doesn't need to be their primary function because, once again, you got Jimmy Butler to score, you've got Bam Adebayo to score down low, you've got Kyle Lowry to score at the 1, and then you've got a great Tyler Hero who's scoring great off the bench here. So you've got the enforcers, you've got the facilitators, you've got the leaders, you've got the coach, you've got everything right here for this Heat team, and they're absolutely getting it done. Duncan Robinson, we don't love him in the starting lineup, but they're winning with them, so we're not going to knock him too hard. But overall, we're loving really everything about this Heat team. A little bit of a lackluster game overall last night against the Celtics, but that's what teams do. They have a little bit of an up and down game. It's an 82 game season. We're not going to fret off of them getting a little dominated by the Celtics. So Heat at number 2, and then our number 1 team, we're going to go the 76ers, folks. Man, oh man, what a great squad over here. No Ben Simmons, absolutely no problem because of mother-loving Tyrese Maxey, folks. He's averaging 14 points and 4 assists. I mean, how great is that, folks? Second year here, and he's facilitating this floor full of really great, talented players, and he's running the floor to execution, folks. Fantastic. Tyrese Maxey, cannot speak highly enough about him. And then let's talk about the other starters. Seth Curry, who's shooting 53% from 3. How absolutely immaculate. I don't even think that's the best. I think there's one other player shooting a little bit better of a percentage than Seth Curry is. But how great is 53%? I mean, he's getting it done. 20 points a game, no big deal. We still have, obviously Joel Embiid down low. fantastic, can spread the floor, stretch the floor, all of that. Tobias Harris, once again, they're great shooters. So once again, we've got two great shooters with the ball facilitator and a big beef down low. And then you got Danny Green at the 3, who plays great defense and kind of pops off 4, 5, 6 games a year where the 3 is just absolutely falling. Other than that, he's just a little bit of a good defender out there. But they're not just their starting lineup, folks. This bench, folks. Andre Drummond, they still got off the bench. How great is that? They've barely been utilizing him. Furkan Korkmaz, who can step up in the starting lineup that we saw like 2 games ago to get the win. No problem. And then who else we get? Matisse Thybulle, but then Georges Niang and Shake Milton. Yes. Georges Niang, what an addition here off the bench, and Shake Milton still getting it done. So they've got scores, they've got beef, they've got defenders, they've got facilitators, they've got everything needed for the 76ers team to continue to be great. I think they're first in the East. Yeah, first in the East, 7-2. Absolutely fantastic. And it's really all put together by Tyrese Maxey, because if they have to, filling in for the role of Ben Simmons, if you move kind of Seth Curry to the 1, then he's kind of a more facilitator, but he just really wants to score. He can hit the 3, a little bit of a knockoff pace than his brother Steph Curry, but still a great pace. Obviously, as we said, 53%. I mean, that is absolutely fantastic. Steph Curry is not doing that. So it's just an absolute great team all around. I'm loving the 76ers team, and we are keeping the 76ers, or we will make the 76ers at number 1. So this is our power rankings for the NBA, folks. The first of the season. Raptors at 10, Grizzlies at 9, Lakers at 8, Nets at 7, Bucks at 6, Jazz at 5, Warriors at 4, Bulls at 3, Heat at 2, and the 76ers at 1, folks. All right, that is all the NBA that we have time for. 10 minutes turned into 36. Classic, right? All right.